Hey everyone, Charles Stevens here with this week's Words of Wisdom. I'm coming to you today from Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, just north of Charleston. Over the past several months, we've talked about becoming a leader worth following, living intentionally, and building a legacy that outlives us. As I reflected on those series, I kept coming back to one simple truth: legacy travels through relationships. That's why we're beginning a brand new series called Relationships That Multiply Influence. And today I want to start with this thought: influence begins with connection. We've all heard the quote, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. I learned that lesson early in my career as a teacher and a coach. Like many young educators, I thought my influence would come from what I knew. I spent hours preparing lessons, practice plans, studying strategies, and learning everything I could about teaching and coaching. But it didn't take long to realize something very important. The students and athletes who responded most weren't necessarily responding to my knowledge. They were responding to the relationship. When students believed I genuinely cared about them, not just their grades, they listened differently. When athletes knew I cared about them as people, not just as players, they trusted me differently. That connection came first. And once the connection was established, the influence naturally followed. Looking back over 30 plus years in education, I can't remember every lesson I taught or every game I coached, but I do remember the countless relationships. And many years later, when former students and athletes reach out, they rarely mention a worksheet, a practice plan, or a lecture. They talk about how someone believed in them, how someone listened, how someone took the time to invest in them. Because influence doesn't begin with information, it begins with connection. So here's something for you to think about this week. Who in your life needs more than your advice? Who needs your attention? Who needs your presence? Who needs to know that you genuinely care? It may be your spouse, maybe it's a child, maybe it's a coworker, a friend, or someone you've been trying to lead. Before you focus on changing people, focus on connecting with them. Take time to listen. Ask a thoughtful question. Show genuine interest. Make a personal connection. Because the strongest influence isn't built on authority, position, or knowledge. It's built on relationships. And as we'll discover through this series, the greatest investments we make are often in the lives of other people. Because at the end of the day, people are our purpose. That's all for this week's Words of Wisdom. Next week, we'll talk about the power of encouragement. Have a great week.